Welcome to our second episode of WLBT's Ask the Experts. I'm your host, Kelly Boyd. Today, I'm here in the hub with Attorney Mike Maggio. Mike, welcome. Thank you for being here to answer the questions of our viewers today.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So the questions come from our Ask the Experts webpage on WLBT.com. But you can add your questions and comments while we're live on Facebook, and we'll try to get to those today too. Mike, a lot of the questions that were submitted for today are regarding accidents involving 18-wheelers and other commercial vehicles.
Perfect.
All right. So you ready to get started?
I am.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Great. So our first question, does Maggio Thompson handle trucking 18-wheeler cases?
Absolutely. We are a local firm here in Jackson on Fortification Street, and we've dedicated our entire practice to helping injured people of Mississippi. And a large part of that practice is, in fact, 18-wheelers and trucking accidents and other accidents that involve commercial vehicles. So absolutely, that is a big part of our practice at Maggio Thompson.
Okay, great. Okay, next is, what are some of the differences that you typically see in 18-wheeler crashes versus your standard motor vehicle crashes?
You know, that's a great question, and it's one that we see routinely. The unfortunate reality is 18-wheelers can weigh up to 70,000 pounds. A typical motor vehicle car is just 3,000 to 5,000 pounds. So the biggest difference we see when dealing with commercial vehicles are they can be catastrophic injuries, and that makes the case more challenging. We oftentimes see death cases, unfortunately, but a lot of times we're dealing with very, very catastrophic injuries just because of the size of these commercial vehicles.
Due to the size of that vehicle.
No question.
Okay. And what are some of the most common trucking accidents, types of vehicles?
So we see lots. You know, people associate commercial vehicles with your standard 18-wheeler that you see every day on Interstate 55 or 20 or whatnot. But there's lots of commercial vehicles that are big. It doesn't have to be just an 18-wheeler. You have logging trucks and UPS vehicles and concrete trucks. I mean, there's lots and lots of commercial vehicles that are rather large vehicles.
A lot larger than the standard cars and trucks on the road.
Absolutely. And they're not always associated with just 18-wheelers. So we see lots of commercial vehicle accidents involving vehicles that are not just 18-wheelers. So other transportation vehicles and things of that nature. But they do cause significant injuries because they're bigger vehicles.
Okay, so the next question regards, like with the businesses, commercial vehicles. Who is typically responsible?
So in any personal injury case, whether you're looking at an 18-wheeler case or a car wreck, you still have to prove that someone was negligent before you can recover. So did they do something they shouldn't have done, or did they fail to do something that they should have? So in an 18-wheeler or other commercial case, we're typically dealing with a company that employed somebody, put them on the road, put them behind the steering wheel of an 18-wheeler, and then you're also dealing with that employee. So there's usually two claims. You sue both the employer, if you have to file a lawsuit, as well as the employee, and that brings in a bunch of claims that you can make. So that's also a great question. So, but you do still have to prove negligence in your case.
On either party.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, why is it important to hire a lawyer in a trucking case?
So this kind of goes back to the severity of the injuries that we typically see in an 18-wheeler case. Because the injuries are so severe, I've seen it, and I recently saw it, where there was a devastating wreck on 20, and the insurance company had a team of adjusters and experts. They were on site with an accident reconstructionist the day the accident happened. So that puts us behind the eight ball because an insurance company already has a team of lawyers and experts working their case up against you before you even have a lawyer. You know, so I mean, it poses problems in that sense. So something we see a lot.
So on our last episode, your partner Seth told us about the experts that you hire. Once a client hires you, you guys get all the experts to build your case. So that's what you're saying the insurance companies are doing.
They do, and they get a leg up. I mean, they're working on these cases from the day they come in, as opposed to we may not get involved in a case for 6 months or a year or longer. So then we have to go back and try to recreate the scene with our own experts, get medical experts involved and vocational experts, and it can be a daunting process, but something that we enjoy and that we do good work with.
Great, great. So the next question says, what should I do immediately after an 18-wheeler wreck?
First and foremost, and I would tell this to friends and family and clients, and I tell everybody the same thing, getting medical attention is first and foremost. Your livelihood is far more important than a car accident claim, right? So first and foremost, always notify the authorities. Call 911 if you in fact need medical attention. Check on the other parties involved if you can. But first and foremost, always take care of yourself. Now, having said that, if you're there on the scene and you do not need to be transported by ambulance or whatnot, you can get crucial information there at the scene. Collect witness information for one. You know, these witnesses disappear and they're hard to track down. So if you're there on the scene and somebody saw something, collect that information. Take photographs. I mean, you can really help your case in the event you need to hire a lawyer at a later date. So that's something I would say. Just be mindful of your surroundings if you're there at the scene and you're capable and able to actually look at those things.
Yes, and most everyone has a smartphone, and most phones take pictures anyway, so you have everything you need right there should you not need medical attention. But your recommendation to do first is call 911.
Call the authorities.
So
Absolutely.
get your first responders and everything taken care of.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have, is it easier to reconstruct the scene of an 18-wheeler truck wreck?
You know, that's a tough question, but I think so. 18-wheelers have typically have a black box, and that's extremely helpful for us because it provides data that we wouldn't otherwise have. A black box in a vehicle can determine the speed of the 18-wheeler at the time the accident happened. It has a GPS locator in it where we can place the vehicle at the time the accident occurred. We can decide or see whether the tires were properly inflated. Okay, so I mean, there's lots of things we can see, and oftentimes in an 18-wheeler case, we have data that we wouldn't otherwise have in a standard motor vehicle accident. So it is, in my sense, or in my opinion, easier to reconstruct an 18-wheeler accident.
All because of the black box.
It just provides information we don't otherwise have.
Okay, that's great. And let's see, what do I need to prove in an 18-wheeler wreck?
Not just in 18-wheeler cases, and I touched on this just a few moments ago, you always have to prove that someone else was negligent, that they had a duty that they owed to you, and they did something they shouldn't have done. You know, did they change lanes when they shouldn't have? Were they speeding? So what did they do to actually cause the 18-wheeler or motor vehicle accident? So at the root of all cases, you still have to prove that the party breached some duty that they owed to you and that they were in fact negligent in the state of Mississippi.
Okay, and then how do you prove fault?
So we prove fault through the collection of data, right? Reconstructing the scene through experts, trying to determine what the cause of the accident was. Did they do something that they shouldn't have done? I mean, were they speeding? Were they talking on their cell phone? Did they change lanes without properly signaling? So, I mean, those are the kind of causes that we prove, or we have to prove to successfully recover in an 18-wheeler accident.
Okay. And what are federal motor carrier safety regulations?
So that is a federal regulation that governs all companies and drivers across the United States. If you're driving a commercial carrier, there are regulations that regulate their activity and conduct. So it provides a second layer, I guess, of regulations to help regulate these 18-wheelers and their employees. So it's really beneficial. It provides that second layer of scrutiny for these employers.
And it's even regardless of what state they're in, because they're traveling through the nation and laws are different in each state.
That is right. So it's a federal regulation, so it would apply in all 50 states. And you still have your state laws and codes and statutes, but luckily we do have regulations that help rein them in a little bit on what they can and can't do.
Okay. Next question, what am I entitled to recover after an accident with a truck?
So you're entitled to recover all damages that were reasonably related and caused by the accident, right? So there's two types of damages in Mississippi. You have economic damages and non-economic damages, and I'll break those down just very briefly. Economic damages are damages that you can actually prove: past, present, and future medical expenses, okay? Lost wages, loss of wage earning capacity. And then your non-economic damages are your pain and suffering and loss of enjoyment of life and things like that. So there's two types of damages: economic, non-economic damages, and you can claim any damage that is causally related to the underlying negligence of that party.
Okay. What should I tell the car insurance companies when they call me?
Nothing. Tell them you have hired a lawyer and to contact your lawyer. I tell every client, and I get this question all the time, they're always going to want a recorded statement.
Right.
These insurance companies are building their case against you from day one. Every decision they make is a business decision. How can they save money, right? So when they call you and they want a recorded statement, they're trying to hurt your case, plain and simple. So I caution everybody, I would not speak to an insurance company or an adjuster without the advice of counsel. I mean, I've seen too many cases get sideways just because of a recorded statement that an insurance company had prior to an attorney's involvement in the case. So hire your lawyer and then talk to the insurance company.
Right. So, and you're referring to both insurance companies, your own and the negligent party.
Absolutely. So with your own insurance company, you have a duty to cooperate, okay? And you may have a duty to actually give a statement, right? But there's only certain information that they can get and they may be entitled to. And even your own insurance company, they are building their case against that uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist claim. So just be careful. I caution you to be careful. Urge you to consult with an attorney. I mean, it's invaluable.
So your recommendation to answer this question when they call you is, I'm going to call my attorney and I'll call you back.
Absolutely. No question about it.
Okay. The next question is, Mike, will you be handling my case personally?
My law partner and myself, we've made a goal, I guess, is to personally meet with all of our clients, personally return their phone calls, and we personally handle those cases. So absolutely, I'm the guy that'll meet with you in the conference room. I'm the guy that'll return your phone call. I'm the guy that'll try your case in the event we have to try it before a jury. So absolutely, we personally handle our cases. We don't sign them, ship them out like some other law firms. We personally handle your cases. We're heavily involved with client retention and working on the file, and everything goes through me. So absolutely, we are very invested in our clients.
And you're right here in Jackson on Fortification Street.
We are. We just recently built a new office on Fortification Street. So we're here local. Certainly sit down with anybody that needs to speak to a lawyer.
Okay, good. What do I pay the attorney?
We work on what's called a contingency fee, and this is something that we see a lot as well. We don't work hourly. We work on a contingency fee. So in the event there is a successful recovery, we would get a percentage of that recovery, and that's how it works in the personal injury world. So that is a great question. We don't work hourly, strictly on a contingency fee. It's a no-risk contract for the client. If we do not obtain a successful recovery, you will not owe me a penny.
Okay, and then to do with that, is there a time limit for filing a claim?
There is, and that can be a loaded question. So I want to caution that there are statute of limitations for different practice areas in Mississippi. When you're dealing with just general negligence claims, motor vehicle accidents, truck accidents, those are 3 years in the state of Mississippi. But don't wait 3 years to contact a lawyer. You're behind the 8 ball at that time. Let your lawyer start building your case for you. And I try to tell people, it's just like building a house, right? You got stages. Let your lawyer be involved. Let him build your case. He's going to maximize what you're entitled to if he gets involved on the front end. But typically speaking, it's a 3-year statute of limitations for general negligence claims in the state of Mississippi.
And if you're getting close to that 3 years, they need to come see you prior to the day of, because it takes time to build that case.
Absolutely. You got to have your lawsuit on file within 3 years from the date of injury to protect that statute.
Okay. Now, what compensation is available? You spoke on this a little bit, but...
So compensation, all damages that are reasonably related. So if you miss a day of work and a doctor has you off of work, those are lost wages that are related to your accident. If you go to the doctor and you have medical expenses incurred as a result of that accident, those are damages that we're entitled to recover. If you have an injury that has restrictions or an impairment rating that may affect your future abilities to earn a wage, those are damages that we can recover. So all damages that can be causally linked to the underlying accident can be recovered in the state of Mississippi.
Okay. Should I accept the first settlement offered?
Absolutely not. I have seen countless times where an insurance company has offered $1,000 nuisance value, where they haven't looked at medical records, they have done nothing other than, here's $1,000, please go away. I have seen cases where a $1,000 offer was made, we ended up settling it for 6 figures. I mean, that happens pretty routinely. So absolutely not. Never accept a $1,000 offer, whether it's me or another lawyer in town. There's lots of good lawyers. Go speak to a lawyer before you accept a $1,000 offer on a case. Or a first offer on a case. I mean, just seek the advice of counsel, okay? And know that these insurance companies are making business decisions whenever they're valuing your case.
Right. And then if you do accept a settlement and you decide you had other issues, they can't hire an attorney after that,
so
right?
So that is it. Once you agree to a settlement, that is it. You get one bite at the apple. So if you, before a lawyer, you settle your case for $1,000 or $5,000, doesn't matter what happens after that. Or, I mean, there's some contract defense, but as a general rule, once you settle your case is settled. So get the advice of counsel.
Okay. Now, who can be sued after an accident?
Any at-fault party, and that is a great question. I'll tell you why. A lot of times in 18-wheeler accidents, we see multiple vehicles where multiple parties may be involved. It's not always one vehicle and one driver that's at fault. You can have a chain reaction with 3, 4, 5 vehicles at fault, and it can be divvied up in Mississippi. Not everybody is 100% at fault, so you may have multiple parties that can have a percentage of fault in a car wreck. And speaking of that, and I guess I spoke to this earlier as well, you can still sue both the employer and the employee that was driving the motor vehicle. So there's a bunch of folks that could potentially be at fault. It's another reason why I would say talk to a lawyer.
Okay. And in turn, have you ever had a client become sued whenever you were handling a case?
So we have. So I mean, we've got several going now where we represent them on their personal injury claim, and because of the facts, they may be a percentage at fault, and then they get sued as a result. So absolutely, it's something we deal with. It's fairly common, and it's something we have to deal with. We see it fairly common.
Okay. Do cases typically go to trial?
That's a loaded question. Most cases, as a general rule, are going to resolve. I mean, there's statistics out there, 90% of cases settle. I don't know about it being that high, but most cases do in fact settle. The parties come together, there's a reasonable value typically placed on cases, and those cases resolve. Now, having said that, we are a law firm that will try a case. There are a lot of law firms in town that will not try a jury trial. We will try your case. We work every single case like we're going to have to try it before a jury. So we work it up like we're going to have to try it, and that adds value to the case. I mean, you work a case like you're going to go to trial, and the insurance company is going to pay you more money than if you sit on it and they know you're scared to take a case to trial.
And you prefer, as an attorney, you prefer the trial over just a settlement to get what they deserve?
Yeah, I mean, if an insurance company is not acting right, we will make them act right, and that's the way we do it. We do it in front of a jury. So, I mean, absolutely, we like to try cases. We like to be in a courtroom. Good,
good. Okay, this question is, should we hire a local lawyer?
Yes, but I'm partial. I think it's invaluable to hire a local lawyer, and here are a few reasons why. You see the commercials with William Shatner and all these folks on national TV that are running ads trying to sign cases here in Mississippi. You need to be able to meet with your lawyer. You need to be able to sit down with them, go over the facts of your case, understand who your lawyer is, that they're representing you, and that you can talk to them if there's a problem. Problems arise in these cases. You need to know that you can go to your lawyer and that they're going to help you out. You know, we know the framework of Mississippi courts. We know the judges and the court administrators, and I think it's just my preference. I think out-of-state lawyers that come into Mississippi and sign cases are at a disadvantage. They don't have the same advantages that we have being located on Fortification Street, knowing the judges and the courtrooms and the people involved.
You see them almost on a daily basis being
We do, be it plaintiff doctors or defense doctors. We see these folks every day, and it helps. It's an advantage to hiring a local lawyer, absolutely.
So a lot of times you see these national lawyers commercials, and they have maybe teams or offices here in Mississippi, but they're not actually here representing your case. That's a team of people that are here.
It happens. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but that is, I caution you, know who you're signing with. Make sure you can go meet with that lawyer. Make sure you can talk to them. Make sure you have access to your lawyer.
Okay. And we have a question over here that says, how long does it potentially take to arrive at a settlement or reach a verdict if it goes to court?
Typically, in a general sense, every case is different. One case may have more severe medicals than the next, right? You may have a case where somebody doesn't finish medical treatment for 2 years. Those cases are going to take longer, right? But from the time we file a lawsuit, we either want the case resolved or set for trial within 12 months from that date. That's a pretty reasonable time frame on a personal injury case. So we try to, from the date of filing to either a resolution or trial within 12 months.
Okay. So I believe that is all of our questions for now. Is there anything that you want to add? A lot of our questions, our topic was basically 18-wheelers and commercial vehicles. Is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers?
Just that we're a local injury firm. We're here. There's access to us, the partners. We want to meet with you. Call us with questions. If we can't help you out, we'll find somebody that can. But we're here. We're in the community. We're going to be here for a long time, and we look forward to serving the folks of Mississippi.
Okay. Tell everyone how to get in touch with you.
You can reach us. We're on Fortification Street, 1227 East Fortification Street. Our office number is 601-300-3333. You can find us on the web, obviously, and we look forward to helping people out.
Is that mtlawms.com?
It is. It's mtlawms.com is our website.
Okay. And you actually have a live chat feature as well.
We do, and we're accessible. I mean, if somebody contacts our office, myself or Seth, we'll return the phone call that day. So, I mean, reach out to us. We'll be glad to help out.
Mike will return your phone call personally.
Absolutely. That's right.
Good to know. Well, Mike, thank you for your expert legal advice today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Our next episode with Maggio Thompson, personal injury attorneys, will be on June 13th at 2 p.m. Next week, we'll have a real estate expert. So log on to WLBT.com/asktheexperts to send in your questions for all of our experts, including Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Kelly Boyd. Thank you for watching WLBT's Ask the Experts.